Yeah, hello and welcome by We Built DeFiChain. We are a little bit out of breath here. We were just setting up the setting here. DC just jumped over from his last business meeting to come to you guys and present his community funding proposal. DC, how are you? Stressful day,
Fine,
huh?
thanks. Yeah, stressful. Thought about, and I think it's the first rebuild show for me on the other side.
On the
Normally,
other
I'm
side.
sitting in the moderator role and present the projects, and today I can present my own project here, similar to your DeFi Links IO some months ago. And I'm happy then that we can have a look on it. I think it's a known project, but maybe I present or explain the one or other detail someone didn't recognize or known.
Absolutely. Hey, cool that you're here. Thanks for taking the time during your busy day. So, guys, most of you might know there was like kind of a pre-voting on Reddit where a lot of this community funding or projects that want to be community funded put up a Reddit post and then the community votes on it. And DC took the first place. Congratulations on that.
Second place,
Second
second
place,
place.
sorry. Took the second place. Congratulations on that. And yeah, a lot, like I said, a lot of people might know it, but that was also the challenge. What do you want to show us today? And I think we jump right in. We've got about 20 minutes, and you just take it from there. So
Yeah.
there you are, DC.
Right.
What do you want to
We
start with?
I want to start a little bit with the history and where did it come from.
Cool.
So it's not the first CFP for this project; it's the
Mm-hmm.
second one. Yeah, I had one in January last year. And at this time, the dashboard of DeFiChain was combined with a dashboard for Cake DeFi.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the idea that we want to split it, make one explicit DeFiChain dashboard tracking data, because also my vision was that if I can give more insights, what's happening, how does the blockchain works, and liquidity mining DEX, the one or other feels more comfortable. It's a little bit more than just a black box, where does the rewards come from, and so on. And with the first CFP, I created this own dashboard. It was launched last year in April with some basic evaluations and functions. And then I adapted more and more over the last month. So every new feature on DeFiChain was also implemented on my side, giving some insights. And this CFP is now for the effort I spent the last 12 months. And then we can jump into the more details of the dashboard. We just have 20 minutes, so it's not possible to explain every graphic, every sub-menu. So I will go through the dashboard as a rough overview. If you switch to the scene, we will
Let's do
see
this. Here we go.
the general tab on this side. So maybe the one or other saw this graphic before. Yeah, it's the distribution of our DeFi coins. It's the basic understanding of the tokenomics. How much maximum supply do we expect? This 1.2 billion DFI. What is the current total supply and the current circulating supply? So here you see some numbers. They are updated automatically in the background, I think every 5 minutes, and present here the distribution. So
Oh,
we
wow.
have
Okay, I didn't even know
if
that. So that's more or less a live view of the token distribution.
yeah, you see here when it's updated. So it's
Cool.
time zone UTC. So it's now it's half an hour now. Yeah, I have to make it not so frequently because a lot of data is acquired to get the data. And if it
Mm-hmm.
is made in a too short time frame, the evaluation takes longer than the updating interval. So in general, on the left side, we have the menu to go through all different kind of data. So that was the general. Also, some further evaluations are here. Then I had this blockchain category. Yeah, that's one of the very first evaluations here, counting the addresses holding DFI, the master node, so how many are out there, how many are hosted by Cake and the others. just to see how we go on with this kind of or the idea of decentralization. We have the daily active addresses, so every address with a change in DFI, the coin distribution and the change of the coins, and so on. So here it's the blockchain itself. It's also similar to other blockchain projects. You can adapt it also for Bitcoin, for example. And then it was late 2020, we launched our DEX and liquidity mining. So the first use case of DeFiChain, you can now swap the one coin to the other. And I started to make here also some evaluations. Yeah, I think at the beginning, a very often visited subpage was this arbitrage view. So here you can compare the DEX price with some central exchanges out there. You can select here what is your reference. It's CoinGecko or Bittrex, and the different crypto tokens, because the D tokens at this time were not available, and on the other side they are not listed on central exchanges, so there's no arbitrage opportunity. I think that's the only evaluation with a very short time interval. So on the left side, it's updated every minute, but only for the last 1.5 hours. Then we have here a graph updated every hour, and that's one time interval I use, 1 hour. Another one is on a daily base, because otherwise you're getting too much data to represent it also. So that's a DEX view. So it's the point of view for a user using the DEX. Want to see, okay, what are the coin prices, the volume, how much can I move the pool in the lower ones with a bigger swap. And then I had another category more from maybe the investor side, how much total value locked is on the liquidity mining. Here again, only the crypto tokens, how much liquidity tokens are there in the different pools, now also adapted for the D tokens. Common question from the community, how does the RPR rate look like over time, and the fees. And before we go now through all details, I wanted to jump into one evaluation in a very specific way. It's the number of D tokens. And here I want first to explain a little bit how to handle my dashboard. So sometimes you see on the top a selection. Here, for example, the DUSD token is selected as a default, but you can also choose D Apple. And then the graph is updated. So that's one opportunity for you on this page to get the data you are interested in. Then you have different time frames as a pre-selection. I think here 40 days is default. You can also switch to 30 days, 2 months, or all data. If you don't like it to do it here as a predefined range, you can also use your mouse and directly zoom in. That's done by clicking into the graph and then just moving the mouse. So if you go to the left or right, you are choosing the X range you're interested in. You can also move from the top to the left, from top to down, to choose the Y range you're interested in, or just form a kind of a rectangle, and then that's the range you're zooming in.
And how do you get back?
Good question, right? And you also struggled, I think, in the past.
I struggled,
The back is just a double click into the graph. For me, it's intuitive. Great question. So here, for example, you're interested in kind of what happened here.
And that's where I got stuck. Then I had to reload the page stuff. Okay, and you just double click us in.
Double click into the graph is zooming
awesome.
out.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. Fantastic.
So you have full control of the graphic. You can analyze the details if you cannot see it in an overview way. And this gives you the control of the graphs. It's very interactive. Another interactive option is to use the legend. The one or other also maybe don't know. So here I can just select the one or other part I want to show or not show just by clicking on it, and then it's removed. And I want to use this graph to explain a little bit the D-token DUSD system. So we started with the D-token system that every D-token are baked by loans or created with loans, so they're minted. That's shown here at the beginning. The amount of the USD token we had are only in the category D tokens with loans. And then in February, we decided to implement this feature, payback DUSD loans with DFI. The DFI burn, or nearly everyone knows. And this creates a new category of DUSD token in our system. That one which are paid back by DFI. So there are no loans in the background. They are now created. So if we just select this one, we see here the amount. So that's the amount of DUSD token in our system without loans. So these two categories exist. And then later on, a new one for creating DUSD were created. That's the D tokens which are minted via future swap. So if we trade any D token in a premium, we are swapping DUSD to the D tokens. That's so then we are removing DUSD. But for the discount case, we are swapping D tokens to DUSD, and they are created new. So here I can also select the amount, not so big as the other ones, but we have now created over 1.6 million DUSD token with this future swap. And the overall sum of these three, if I show you in this stacked way, so they are now summed up, then you have a feeling or an impression how many DUSD were in our system. So in the peak, it was here around about, 280 millions, a little bit more. That was the peak, and now we are around 240 million DUSD created. But that's not the circulating supply of our DUSD token. The DUSD minted by loans are easily tracked because you just had a look how many are minted currently, and then you show the number. If you close the loan, so you are paying back, you are removing DUSD from the system. We currently see this discount in the DUSD because every DUSD minted by the payback function cannot be removed. We cannot create DFI like Terra Luna. That's the big difference here. So they are still remaining in the system, but we have different mechanisms currently, and more are coming with the DFIPs from the last voting round to remove DUSD from the systems. And then we are getting the circulating supply or circulating amount of DUSD, which is this line. And where does the difference here come from? So we have, on the one hand, our burn fee still implemented, and which we raised a little bit. I just show you the number here. It's not a bigger amount, but you see it's increasing over time. We are now nearly by reach a number of 3 million DUSD burned via the DEX fee. And if we increase the DEX fee, it was one of the DFIPs from the last round. Here the line should increase also more if users are using the DEX and trade to remove the DUSD. And the biggest part are the future swaps, because we saw a premium on the D tokens at the beginning, and a lot of D tokens or DUSDs were swapped to D tokens and removed. And if I now go back to the overall view here, with double click on one legend entry, you can switch between one entry, which would be here just the D tokens burned via future swap, or all, just as a hint. We come to this picture. So we have different categories of creating DUSD. We have different ones to reduce them, and we will get this line as the current circulating supply. So that was a little bit a mixture of explaining how the graphic work, how you can zoom in, and some explanations about the USD, because I cannot go into every detail of the dashboard. Maybe the newest category I want to mention is this BSC bridge. It was also a community fund proposal from end of last year. Dr. Daniel Kagare built it to swap from DeFiChain to the Binance Smart Chain, or BNB Smart Chain now. And yeah, it's very nice to see that's working. And if I select the complete time range since the official launch, you can see from nearly zero DFI, that was just testing phase, we now reached nearly 250,000 of DFI logged into the smart contracts and created this BEP20 token on the BNB Smart Chain. And yeah, it looks like that we still see a kind of outflow of our system into the Binance or BNB Smart Chain. There we have Pancake Swap, 2 pools, and I think most of the coins are there now as liquidity.
Cool. Hey Daniel, you've got so many new categories already. How many sub pages does your website in total hold? Because it's massive. It's growing and growing and growing and growing. Any idea?
No, I have not counted it.
What's about guess? 50 pages or something like this? Easily, huh?
Could be, yeah, in this range. If it is 40 or maybe 50, I don't know. But in this category, I'm also open for everyone with ideas. If I have the data, I can create a kind of new evaluation. Maybe also here a good information or hint. It's just a representation of data out there. I'm not really creating new data. Yeah, for sure, I'm calculating this data and extracting the one or other. But a lot of graphics here rely on the Ocean API. I have a few my DeFiChain APIs, and for sure in the community category, I have the one or other community project, and then they provide the data for me as an API, and I just create the graphics or evaluations. So community projects out there, you want to be on DeFiChain Analytics as a graphic, users, usage, what else you want. If you provide me an API, I can implement it. Yeah. So the idea is to grow here. Yeah. Maybe in future I have to rethink the menu structure because it's getting bigger and bigger, and no one found the right one. But yeah, I have the vision. If everyone knows what's happening and understands it more, it helps the community to see, how DeFiChain works and how the future could look like.
Cool, fantastic. I think it's a big help to bring a lot of transparency to the project and uncover all the little hidden bins. Hey, fantastic job, Daniel. The website from the very beginnings, and I want to mention it again. DC was the first who got funded at the very, very beginning. That's now quite a while ago. And you can see the people who are in the project, how it is developed over time and constantly adding and building. A lot of surprises. There's always something new. And I asked DC so many times, hey, do you know how to figure that out? And then it says, hey, dude, just check out the page because there's everything there. Even how many CFPs did we have already? All kind of really cool data is there. And yeah, the changelog would reveal it actually if somebody would read it, right?
Right, that's the thing. But I also, for me, want to see what's happening or what happened in the past.
And how many updates did you have? Do you know? I mean, it's a long
list. I have not counted it.
Okay.
Sorry again. I just extracted also a few points for the CFP. In details are more. You see it here. So the official launch was April last year. Then everyone could use it, and from this I working on it and adapt, improve. Also, bug fixing is necessary, and create new features. Yeah.
Cool.
So a lot of effort, but
Absolutely.
I like it. I'm kind of data scientist. I like data and the interpretation of it. It's the only truth, data, and for sure this project will go on in future and be the number one place to get insights into DeFi chain.
Fantastic.
That was the vision and is still the vision.
Is still the
And
ongoing
I'm
vision.
very happy that it's working, really.
Yeah, a lot of people rely on your data here. Hey, fantastic, great.
Maybe
job.
one
wanna
comment.
You wanna go back? Or?
No.
Okay.
You can stay here. No screen share. I had the idea now over 2 years ago to make something with data, and it was during Corona lockdown and nothing to do, and say, okay, what about learning Python, this program language, to make some data science? And I needed a use case, because just with examples from the internet, it's not fun. You need a real example. And then I started with this cake, and shortly after this, I added some graphics to DeFiChain, and I always had this vision, to make it live, and that it's used by the people, and I'm very happy that's working, because 3 years ago I had not in mind to host a website evaluating blockchain data. It happened in this way, so very happy that's used.
Cool. Now, cool story. Honestly, I wanted to ask you, I wanted to point out this story that you were actually not really a developer or somebody who was writing code, and with the whole project you learned so many new things. Hey, cool. DC, we're at the end. 20 minutes is up. I know we could talk forever. We're gonna continue our conversation tonight in the news show. Guys, I hope you like it. Got a little bit of overview about the new and all the things that DC added to the system. I think it's a fantastic project. Thanks, DC, for spending the time. I know the funding is a small compensation for the time that you invested. Thanks for taking the time also to come out during the day in your lunch break to do this presentation. And yeah, guys, there are going to be 2 more presentations the next days to prepare you for the next upcoming voting round. So that was DeFiChain Analytics Dashboard. DC, thanks for coming, and everybody out there.
Thanks, Mark, for hosting me.
Yeah, very welcome. It was a pleasure. It's so easy with you, even without presentation. Old, good team. Cool. Hey, DC, see you later. Thanks.